Hey guys, so these are the rest of the examples for factoring trinomials. So the next one we're going to dive into, so we got a GCF of 1, and start our x. We've got a times c, so 6 times -3, -18. Our b value goes on the bottom, -7. Let's start our factor chart. So we got -18. Now with negatives, you have to write the same pair twice. This is why. 1 times 18 gives you 18. Now one of them has to be negative to create this -18. The very first one I'm going to give is to the -18. Now I have to write the same pair though, but I have to put the negative on the 1. So they're the same numbers, except the negative kind of bounces from one to the other. Now the next pair we know is 2 and 9, so we're going to say -9 first, and then -2 and +9. Next one is 3, -6, and -3 and 6. So make sure when you have a negative product, is that when you have the same pairs, that negative has to go in between both of these two numbers. Now the only one that adds to get -7 is this one right here. Now don't get confused with the one below it. -2 and 9 is +7, but we're looking for -7. So 2 and -9 makes -7. So let's fill in the chart. So we got 6x squared, -7x in the middle, and -3 on the bottom. Bring in this 2, -9. We see that the variable is x. GCF of the top is 2x. GCF of the bottom is -3, since it leads with the negative. GCF of the top is 3x. GCF of the next one is 1. Put them together. We got 2x minus 3, 3x plus 1, and then we put the GCF that we took out, which is 1, in the front. Okay, number 4. So now this one is a little bit different. If you notice, there's a GCF bigger than 1. The GCF is 4. Now when we have a GCF bigger than 1, we have to divide. Now it changes to 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. This is the one that we're going to do the x and the factor chart with. So we don't do the original, the one that we took out the GCF. So my new a is 2, my c is -3, which is -6, -5 on the bottom. So we have a negative product, so this is when the negative is going to have to bounce around. So we got 1, -6, -1, 6, 2, -3, and -2 and +3. Now we're looking for -5. What's the first one? Because 1 plus -6 is -5. So we have 1 and -6. So when we're going to fill in this box, we're still using the new expression. So 2x squared, -5x, and -3. Put a 1 here, -6 here. The variable is x. GCF of the top is 1x. GCF of the bottom is -3, since it leads with the negative. GCF of the column is 2x. GCF of this column is +1. Now when we put these two together, we got x minus 3. The top is 2x plus 1. Now the 4 goes in front. So that's why it's a good habit, even if it's 1, to go ahead and put it in front. So now when it's super important we actually have a number, that goes in front, which is 4. Now on the next 5, 6, and 7, you can go ahead and pause the video and try to do it on your own, and then I'll come back with it fully worked out. Okay, so for number 5, so you got the GCF was 1, and your final answer should have been x minus 8 times x plus 7. number 6, should have got a GCF was 4, and your final answer should be 4 on the outside, x minus 7 times x plus 1. Number 7, should have got a GCF of 5. Your final answer should be 5 on the outside, x plus 2 times x plus 2. Now with 8, it's practically the same exact thing, except you notice it's not in order. So the one with the highest exponent goes first, then this one has a 1, and then the constant comes next. Now, you do the same exact thing that you did for 5, 6, and 7. So now you can go ahead and pause the video and work it out, and then come back to check. So your final answer, you should have got a GCF as 1, and your final answer is 1, x plus 5 times x plus 4. Now this next one is the same, except you always have to be careful the GCF and a variable. So we know that the biggest number that can go in all of them is 5. Now they all have x. Just like yesterday, we take the variable and the lowest exponent. Now when we divide, we have to make sure to divide by 5x. So now we're left with 1x squared minus 2x minus 3. Now you're going to do the same exact thing that we did. So go ahead and pause the video and then come back to check. So after this, your final answer should be the 5x in the front, x minus 3 times x plus 1. Now this next one, we're going to take out the GCF like we always do. So the biggest number that can go in both is 2, and they also have a variable in common. So they have a variable x, lowest exponent is 1. So we're going to go ahead and divide both of these by 2x. We're left with 1x squared minus 4. There are several other methods to do this. This is the one that we're going to learn in class. If you notice, a is here because a is always in front of x squared, and c is here because it's the constant. What we're missing is b. Well, if b's not there, we know that there's a 0. So we can rewrite this as 1x squared plus 0x minus 4. Now, we're going to do the same exact thing. A times c. B goes on the bottom. B is just 0. So negative 4. So we've got 1 times negative 4, negative 1 times 4, and 2 times negative 2. Now there's no point in writing this one over since it's the same number. Now the ones that add to get 0 is just 2 and negative 2. We're going to build our box. Now we write 1x squared, 0x in the middle, and negative 4. Fill in our numbers. 2, negative 2, attach your x's. GCF at the top is 1x. GCF at the bottom is negative 2. GCF of the first column is 1x. GCF of the next column is positive 2. So our final answer is the 2x that we took out in the beginning, x minus 2, and x plus 2. So these are all the answers to our notes from factoring trinomials.